Welcome into another episode of The Raging Buffalo. Derek Kramer here with Zach Jones and Justin Lamont. And we're going to try to keep this one a little bit shorter because upload time sometimes can be a pain in my ass.
I remember that from my days at Buff State. Friday getting a project uploaded.
Yeah,
getting a project uploaded is like the worst kind of hell.
It's terrifying.
It's
once that freezes or it doesn't upload properly,
yeah,
you know,
it's just like, no, you don't want
pretty much
that
etching
point.
your tombstone at that point.
Oh, 100%.
So, college football playoff is tonight. The Sabres continue to make everybody sad and cry.
Yeah, too.
And I don't want to talk about the Bills because I'm now still hella salty about them. No, you get over it. So, I don't know where to start with this one. I think we should just go with the easy one here. Zach had been out for a little while. As a matter of fact, the last time you saw Zach Jones,
I died.
It was 2019.
It was 2019.
it was 2019.
Gosh,
It was Christmas time,
It was Christmas time.
and he was choking on a hot pepper.
I ate a hot pepper. I wasn't prepared for that. I went in very cocky.
I was fully prepared to do that, and
You've avoided the draft twice now.
I know.
So, don't worry. Based on what Kyle has been telling me, there's going to be a third of these.
I'm ready for it. I honestly was
Okay.
ready
I mean,
for it. If I didn't have to work,
I would absolutely do it again.
I
Here
know
we go,
I
we
no
got
longer
it.
work 28 hours a day, so like
That's key.
There we go.
I'm
So
ready for this.
So there it is. Kyle's ready. Justin's ready. Those are the two guys that have not been drafted into the Habanero Hot Takes. So I guess we're doing one more of these things. So I felt bad that I almost killed 3 people.
Bless your heart, man.
And,
You know what I'm gonna do? I already know this. You're getting this on camera now. Justin Lamont, Kyle Powell, Habanero Hot Take, talking about the Astros and the Red Sox. You got to cheat in order to take the Yankees out.
Yes,
You
there
got
we
to
go.
cheat in order to take the Yankees out.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
What?
It's coming.
All right,
It's
there we
coming.
go. And yeah, this could be a good baseball one. Maybe we get the Stone Cold Frank to talk baseball as
I don't know
well
how he
there.
did that. I don't know how he did that.
Because he is a goddamn machine that doesn't have a soul.
That's the best way to put it. Machine.
Yes,
He's
no.
like a Russian machine from the 80s.
Like Mean Machine.
No, like an asshole.
Just, I mean,
He's
just
an
dead face
asshole.
when he ate it.
Yeah, no, like
I went in cocky. I left humbled.
yeah, that's what happens to pretty much everybody in these, except for Frank, who just stone-faced, whatever. Oh, this is nothing.
You know what?
Screw you,
My-
Frank.
My father made me, eat really hot foods as a child growing up. Plus, I can like crush a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Oh, like nothing, yeah.
Okay.
I went in like that with the same attitude.
I mean, I
It hurt, man.
every year I go in to Wingfest and I get the stupidest wing possible. That doesn't prepare me for these
I'm ready to be
things.
humbled.
Yes, be ready to be humbled.
Oh, I
But,
was in New York City when I was living in New York City. I went to this wing bar and I was like, I saw Buffalo wings. I was like, LOL, okay. you can't pass it off on me. And then they were like, we'll give you the hottest one. And I was like, bring it.
Bring it,
And
bitch.
I was like, they were like, were you a ginger in your past life? Because like, there's really no reason why you should, I'm like, dude, like,
What does that
I'm
mean?
from Buffalo.
That's fantastic.
So
Apologies to our resident ginger Luke Buckley, by the way.
I hope my buddy Jameson sees this because
Christ.
I love that kid.
That's the
That's
hell?
what they said to me. I'm like, what does that have to do with it? And I'm from Buffalo. Like,
It's the
our
greatest
medium is hotter than this. Like,
It's the greatest throwdown
out
ever.
of here.
Yeah, so I guess be ready for the baseball themed Habanero Hot Takes at the end of this month. So
It's big time.
there we go. We're ready. We're locked in.
I'm ready for spring
Look
training
at
to
that.
start anyway.
Look at that. We're locked in. We're locked in. There we go. So we'll warm it up with that, and then we can go into the real fire for that. We've already got the next Habanero Hot Takes drawn up and ready. So I guess I should probably not bring that up then today with what happened with the Houston Astros.
I had my watch, my Apple Watch, and I saw that, and I laughed. I laughed.
That's bad. Honestly, here's my quick brief on it. I still don't think you got hit hard enough as a team because you won a championship out of it and go to hell. Also, I'm glad that you got beat.
Also,
We are.
what I don't get is how is like what the Astros got hit with is a lot, right? They're saying that Alex Cora in Boston is going to get hit worse.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a big
So like,
one for him.
but like I haven't seen much out of like what's coming out of Boston.
Nobody,
Like,
I don't think really anybody has.
I've been scheming for this, but like
Scheme.
where what were you doing that was so much worse than what Houston was
That's
doing?
my thing. Is like Houston won a championship using this method that
Right.
they used. So what is he doing in Boston? I mean, they also won a championship recently, but it's like
Also, I'm in a dynasty baseball league, and I drafted George Springer. Like, his value is going to go down.
his
Like-
value is going down.
Like, watch this dude hit like 215, 7 home runs, and 20 RBIs.
All right, so that's your little baseball tidbit of the day. Be ready for hotter takes from that later in this month. Thank you. That's why we called it that. So, college football playoff. The championship is tonight. Bet the Tigers.
Bet 'em.
Bet the Tigers.
Tigers are winning it.
The Tigers are winning
I'm
it.
taking LSU.
Well,
I think it's LSU.
I mean, the joke is that it's the LSU Tigers and the Clemson Tigers. Catch up, buddy.
He's like, I'm still taking LSU. It's fantastic.
He retreats.
I'll
He's
join
like, damn it.
I'll join in though, but like my heart wants to say LSU. I've loved watching them play all year.
Oh
especially-
yeah, we'll get into our predictions
Yeah.
later, but this is going to be hopefully a great game.
I am so excited.
You saw a lot of drama between Ohio State and Clemson. Yeah, you can come back now. You're not. I didn't even ground you for that. So the LSU Tigers, the Clemson Tigers. I hope that this is a good one. LSU has really been the class of it all this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Taking down tough opponents all throughout the season in the SEC where defense is king. And then they go ahead and they face a team in Oklahoma that doesn't know what defense is because they come out of the Big 12
I love the Big 12.
and
Hook 'em horns.
they promptly got shown, yo, you're from the Big 12.
Murdered them.
So, Clemson, LSU, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Dabo Swinney,
American hero Ed Orgeron.
Hey, he was a Bills fan. He was pulling for the Bills.
That is a big
Yeah,
Bills
so-
They got me going.
Thanks to T. White, yeah.
I was ready to run through a brick wall.
I would have, but I don't know what he's saying.
That doesn't. No, you understand the essence though. What he's saying. That's the key.
The only thing I can understand is his energy. That's it.
Exactly. That's all you need.
All I know is the Bills tweeted it, so it had something to do with them. That's all I'm
Oh yeah.
The Bills tweeted it, so it had something
It had something to do with them. I knew it was Coach O. That's a like. Thank
Right,
you. Let's
right.
go. Game time.
Yes. All right, so in honor of Ed Orgeron, I'm going to try to tee this up in the Ed Orgeroniest way possible. You got top D, LSU Tiger, the number 3 Clemson Tiger tonight in the college football playoff championship. And a lot of people like LSU go Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence is a better pro prospect possibly, but Joe Burrow has been the best quarterback in college football.
Damn right. Yes, to everything.
I'm going to try to put subtitles, I promise.
Damn right. Yes, to everything.
Nah,
As somebody that like I adore college football. If anyone can't see, I have Texas shoes. I'm a massive college football fan. Don't look at me like that, all right?
flex.
I know, right?
What a flex.
I gotta get new shoes too. Like that's gonna be like the second
I mean,
last.
nobody's gonna ever accuse you of being a bandwagoner because you like Texas.
No. Hate myself for it.
Poor thing.
But the first time I really got to watch Joe Burrow be what he is this year was, of course, the Texas game. They came into Austin and wow, it's closer than the Oklahoma game. It's closer than what else.
There you go. Take that pride.
It's closer. And I watched that and I immediately thought that I'm like, but Texas held them under like 40, bitches. But I will say this. To me, and Derek, I was telling you this before we even started, to me, Joe Burrow is having the best season a college quarterback has ever had. I don't even really think it's a debate anymore, especially after his game against Oklahoma. 7 touchdowns, pretty much just mercy ruled him in the first half, essentially by himself with the help of Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's why LSU just feels like they should win it, is because there's so many storylines to them. If anyone doesn't know, Burrow is a kid from Athens, Ohio. His dad was a defensive coordinator for the University of Ohio. He went to Ohio State, left there after 2 years because he was attempting to beat out Dwayne Haskins, I believe he was attempting to beat out Dwayne Haskins, lost the job, and wound up transferring, which is as you're known to do. If guys really think they should be a starting college quarterback, they absolutely should do that, especially at these big programs like.
Especially with how
Ohio
college
State.
coaches hop from
Oh
school to
yeah,
school.
I'm totally fine with kids transferring, especially when it's like, bigger teams really do hoard talent. I mean, we're looking at Ohio State. Justin Fields right now is dominating college football as well. I mean, they lost to Clemson, but he was having a record-breaking year as well. I mean, I'm totally cool with him leading, but he goes to LSU. I think most people have heard the story too. He was up to Cincinnati, North Carolina, and LSU, and he had dinner with Ed Orgeron, and at this restaurant that was supposed to have crawfish, but they didn't. Like, it was that weird night that they didn't, and I guess Coach O asked Joe, "Oh, you want crawfish?" And he goes, "Yeah." Got on his phone, made a call real quick, and within like 20 minutes, they had like this huge tub of crawfish for them, and like they had it. And
You want to know a flex? That's a damn flex.
that's a goddamn flex right there. If I've ever seen one.
Flex.
But from then on, I mean, Burrow has had this relationship with Coach O these last 2 years. I mean, he's fully like Burrow said in his Heisman speech, he gave him the keys to this program, and holy hell, what has he done with that? In all the best ways, Joe Burrow has the swag of a franchise quarterback. He has got the build of one. He has the vision of one, the legs, everything you want in a modern quarterback, and I love him. But with that being said, Trevor Lawrence, though, is the pinnacle of what a modern NFL quarterback, I think people want to see. He's taller than Burrow. He's got a stronger arm than Burrow, probably faster, and he's been doing this since his freshman year of high school rather than we waited till Burrow's senior year, and now he's doing it. I love him, but to me, Trevor Lawrence is a better pro prospect, but this year right now,
It's Joe Burrow's
holy hell, man, Burrow.
This kind of reminds me of 2010, 2011 with Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Like, a lot like Cam Newton.
that's exactly what it reminds me of.
I mean,
Because Cam Newton came into an Auburn team that wasn't exceptionally talented, but he put them right over the hump, and they were off to the races.
Yeah.
And they were the most fun team to watch. They were the best team. They went up against a good Oregon team, but it was Auburn's year. And Burrow does technically essentially the same thing, where you go into LSU where there's always talent. We've seen it for years. As Bills fans, we know. I mean, Tre'Davious White came from there. And they never could figure out the quarterback position. The best one they've had since like 2010, so this decade, has been Zach Mettenberger. And before that was Jamarcus Russell. Like, that's not ideal. That's not ideal for anybody.
What about Matt Flynn?
I'm not talking about Matt Flynn. I'm not going to do that one.
Can you believe he lost his job in 2013 to Russell Wilson?
He got paid this huge. Now that's a conversation I want to have. He has one great game against the Detroit Lions, like week 17, and Seattle's like, all of the money, yes. And then they draft Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson's like, no. In a few years, you can give me all the money. How about that one?
He goes, it's like, all the money? Yes. And then Russell Wilson goes, no.
No. Give me a year. We'll be in the Super Bowl.
It's my job.
But Burrow has captured the hearts of Louisiana. This is essentially going to be a home game for LSU. It's in New Orleans, 60 miles away from Baton Rouge.
Party time.
I mean, it already was. Like last night.
Yeah, you're getting into Mardi Gras pretty soon.
Dude, it's a little wild in New
it's gonna
Orleans
be
right now.
An
6 weeks
LSU
of partying.
championship means that New Orleans is just not going to stop partying.
For
Well,
6 weeks.
classes were supposed to start today for LSU. They canceled them for Monday and Tuesday
Good.
so that students can
Good.
enjoy the game,
Smart.
take your time,
Cancel
party
the-
it out.
Just push the semester back.
I'm going to be honest. They're going to win. If they win tonight, they're going to cancel classes this week. I'll tell you that right
Oh,
now.
yeah, probably.
Like,
They'll be smart.
Oh, yeah.
When do they determine the spring schedule? Like, don't you know, like, college football championship?
It might be happening. I think by like week 8, they should have been like, okay,
Yeah.
guys, we're like the 3rd team right now. Like, let's maybe push it back or have it on hold.
Yeah, so you know those classes are going to be empty this week.
So now Clemson, though, is an interesting team, though. Because
Oh, yeah.
they've really been whooping on a lot of teams this year.
Well, quietly.
Mostly inferior, but that's why it's quiet. They look at the schedule and you go, who have you played really?
CACC, they just, bitch slap them.
Well, then Ohio State, who's been doing a
Mhm.
lot of damage this year, they go out and they come back and beat them. And now you're seeing the first time where it's like, okay, Clemson's got something here.
Mhm.
But this is a defense that allowed 10.6 points per game.
Yeah, no, Clemson is.
Clemson is looking to try to build a dynasty.
Yes, exactly, and really they should be, especially because you're going to have Lawrence next year, absolutely, because he won last year as a freshman. That blows my mind still. But there's so much NFL talent, and it's blue chip talent coming into Clemson now. Travis Etienne is a game-breaking running back. Trevor Lawrence, like I think everyone's probably been hearing the past few years, he is the best pro prospect since Luck, Elway, Peyton Manning, all of those guys. He is the next generation of that. And then you add in guys like T. Higgins, who has tied Hopkins and Watkins for touchdown catches in a career at Clemson, I think with 27. I don't think he's beaten it yet. But even this year right now, he's got 13 touchdowns. Lawrence has nearly doubled his touchdowns from last year with 36. He's under 10 interceptions. He hasn't even thrown a pick since October.
Right, I was gonna say his first 6 games were 14 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown since October 13th.
Since he's got 22.
Yeah, he finished the season with 8 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean that's unreal. That's unheard of. And you saw against Ohio State, dude can move. Like, he can run. I mean, that's really he did all his damage. What was it, like a 75-yard touchdown run by him?
Yeah,
Dude, like, I call Josh Allen a gazelle. Trevor Lawrence is a gazelle. He's got the mane and everything behind him. Like,
yeah, he's got the lettuce.
Sunshine?
Sunshine, yeah. He's got the lettuce there, bud.
He does.
And you know,
But I think there's so many storylines here too, because
and also
Yeah.
the biggest one still remains, just how great of a season this has been for Joe Burrow.
oh, it's unreal. It's unreal. I think tonight there's a realistic shot he hits 60 touchdown passes in the season. There's a realistic
5
shot he
away.
does that. He's 5 away, and
if Clemson's
no
offense
defense to be able to
is,
stop him.
and if Clemson's offense is as good as it has been lately,
Yep.
they're going to need it.
They're gonna need him. They're gonna need him.
They're going to need it. So, Burrow, 5,200 yards, 55 freaking touchdowns
I mean, he's made Justin
in
Jefferson
the SEC.
And he did this against teams like Georgia, Auburn, who had a filthy defense this year, Alabama, whose defense was not the Alabama caliber that we're used to, still them, Florida, whose defense was manhandling people. I mean, this wasn't against the SEC of Arkansas, Missouri, and Vanderbilt.
No.
This was against the juggernauts of that conference.
Class.
And Burrow went, "You're my bitch, you're my bitch, you're my bitch," like all of you. He made a sophomore in Jamar Chase the Biletnikoff Award winner. He's made Justin Jefferson, a former 2-star recruit out of 5, a now legitimate NFL prospect in a loaded wide receiver class. Justin Jefferson is considered one of the better ones. I mean, what this LSU team has done this year on offense, you would never expect from a team like them. It's a lot like how we saw last year with Alabama, where it's like, okay, we never really expected like an Alabama team to break records offensively. Likewise, you never really expect an LSU team to break these records, and they're not just manhandling them like the Steve Spurrier years of Florida. Like, they're like just straight up kicking them in the face and running away and be like, "No, we're king." Like, the Heisman Trophy was basically a wash.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole ceremony, everyone agreed too. It was like, this is Burrow's award,
Yeah.
and it was right. And yeah, I feel bad for guys like Chase Young and Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields. Justin Fields is probably going to win it next year. Chase Young is the best player in this draft class. And Jalen Hurts is completely resurrected.
Chase Young will get paid.
Yeah, Chase Young is just going to legitimately get paid and get to work with Jack Del Rio in Washington. It's going to be great. But what Burrow has done, I don't think anyone, and it got to a point like by week 9 or 10, I think it was after the Alabama game, I didn't see a single other person say another name. There was no one can even make an
It's not
argument.
even close.
And it's so weird normally. You do see guys, it'll be this weird prospect, no, we need to talk about him. He's the real Heisman winner or whatever. Even fans from other schools who were just talking out of their ass because they love one guy. Nobody. No, it was Joe Burrow.
Blind loyalty could not do
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. Blind loyalty couldn't even stop from everyone going like, this fucker has thrown like almost 60 touchdown passes. He's completely changed football in the SEC. And you're like, ah. And then he had a great story because last year he wasn't that good. He just wasn't. His big moment was getting popped in the bowl game against UCF. That was his big moment because he got up.
Mhm.
Well, other than that, it was kind of an ass season. I'll pull up the stats real quick from last year. What's my phone loads? There we go. 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Wow.
2,500 yards, and his completion percentage was 57.4.
In how many games?
How many games? Not telling me exactly. It's not a whole lot of games. Like, he had to work his way into that.
I was gonna say, like, 12 touchdowns for an entire college season.
It's bad.
Yeah.
He finished with 16, including postseason.
Yeah, including postseason.
But let me see if I can find it.
But I mean, I think his biggest jump too, and that's the thing is you look at the jump Burrow has made this year. It's the most impressive thing in college football ever, because he goes from that, and along with that, you see his completion percentage jump from 57.4 to 77.9. He's completing almost 80% of his passes in a year. And it's not like he's hitting these dip and dunk passes where it's like all that stuff. I think I saw something. It was like how Alabama, a lot of Tua's yards came after the catch.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 60% of it came after the catch. Burrow, it was like 30%. So he's hitting these guys in stride. He's hitting like these actual like NFL routes, and that's the thing too. He's preparing like an NFL quarterback. 'Cause he's a graduate player.
Right.
He's already graduated from LSU. So he's preparing like an NFL player. Every week he's watching film. Him and I think it's John Bray is his quarterback coach or our OC. They are just on a different level of synced up. I mean, it's every week he is just making like mind-numbing throws. You're like, how did you do that?
By the way, Burrow played all of the games last season.
I wouldn't be shocked. I think it was like he fought to get the actual starting job, but I thought by like week 2 or 3 he definitely got it.
Didn't they do
12 games he played.
12 games,
Didn't
yeah.
they do like first half with Burrow, first half with somebody else?
I don't know.
Wasn't that them?
I don't know. I don't think. No, I think that was that Notre. No, it wasn't Notre Dame.
No, I think.
I don't know if that was LSU. It may have been.
Yeah, because
that
Burrow.
was-
I think the first time that people really got to see Burrow though was the 7 overtime game,
Against A&M, yeah.
and then he goes and beats UCF,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like that kind of launched things for him.
That's kind of where I mean, I watched an interview with him where it was, pardon my take, he was on a podcast for that. He said the 7 overtime game, he legitimately passed out afterwards. He passed out in the locker room because he was dehydrated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the sideline really is not prepared for a game to go past like 3 overtime. They're not at all.
Yeah.
And even then, they're kind of only prepared to get like 1 overtime possession each, and then let's get out of here. We're out of water and shit. So he passed out after that game. The UCF game, again, his big moment of that entire thing was he got popped and jumped up, and that's where a lot of LSU fans like to say that's where he got his swagger from, was that he took this massive hit, got right up, didn't care, kind of like jawed with him a little bit, and then, you know, goes back to the sideline. But man, like from day one this season, it has just been it's been a roller coaster ride, but not a roller coaster of emotions. It's literally just it's just fun watching them. Like, I'm a Texas fan, and even by the end of the game, I'm like, I'm kind of rooting for LSU now. Like, once the game was over with, I'm like, I'm rooting for LSU. Like, get to the national championship, boys.
It's ridiculous how his season has gone.
They've been just so efficient. They score. It does feel like at this point it will. Like, whenever they want to score, they will score.
Mhm.
They don't kick field goals. It is touchdowns. The receivers are so in sync with Burrow, you know, Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. They got size, they got speed. They got Randy Moss's kid as a tight end. There's talent all over this team.
I'm old.
I know, that's how I felt. Like, I saw
You
that.
want to
and I'm
feel
like,
older? Antoine Winfield Jr. is declaring for the draft.
That must have hurt you.
A little bit.
Yeah, you are older than me.
So yeah, you want to feel old. There it is.
Oh, you want to feel old, have 4 concussions, hip injury, crack bone in your butt, shoulder, elbow.
It's just gross.
Ribs.
Why are you saying a lot of the things I've had?
This is weird flexes by you guys.
That allows you.
Thank God I was a swimmer, man.
That allows you to legitimately feel old. But
You both are feeling like 65.
I mean,
I feel at worst 24.
I'm all right.
My AARP card went down.
I mean, I'm all right. Whatever. Things happen.
Whatever.
So, all right, guys, let's get into this then. Let's have some predictions. Let's have some fun with this thing.
I don't want to pick.
You're gonna have to pick.
Don't make me pick.
You're gonna have to pick the Tigers.
Thank God.
I get it this time.
I got it this time.
So, all right, guys, I'm just going to start off strong here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that LSU finishes the job. They are the #1 team in the country. I feel like they do it again here tonight against a Clemson team that will cause problems.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to go with, hopefully this is the way it turns out, 45 to 40.
That's low.
You think that's low?
I think that's low.
Oh,
I got to
man.
give some credit to Clemson's defense.
You gotta get.
They've got a lot of pro prospects.
Yeah, but I still think that's just.
I don't know.
I think it's gonna.
You're going to hate my score prediction then.
What are you saying? Like 21-17?
No. They're going to be in the 30s, but it's going
21-20?
to be low 30s.
I think.
I'm going to say each team hits 40.
I think you're gonna see what
What's the
happened
over-under on that?
yesterday with Kansas City's offense for both teams.
67 and a half. They're gonna blow that out of the water.
Why?
Yeah,
right.
Is that for the half?
It's the over.
Is that for the
half?
half? Man, that's a legitimate question.
No, yeah, it's 67 and a half over under.
Oh, my
That's
ass.
a joke.
They're gonna
That's a
blow
joke.
that out of the water. And LSU's only at -5. Like,
Sorry, everybody's sending you over on that. Like,
Oh,
there's,
you have
there's no
to.
way. What are you gonna put in like
even
10
now,
bucks
even
on a
now,
run?
even now with my score
10
prediction,
bucks.
I'm like iffy on it. And I'm like, I think the winner's gonna be 35, like 31 or something like that.
I
And then I'm like,
I legitimately think you're gonna see like, I don't know, like look what Kansas City did yesterday, and that was in 2.5
NFL
quarters.
game.
It was in 2.5 quarters.
It was.
Like, Houston fans. They put up 41 unanswered yesterday. I'm not saying LSU or Clemson is going to put up 41 unanswered, but like
They could put a 41.
They could put a 41. They could do it.
and a half.
I think they absolutely could.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say this though, and real quick, I am going to take Clemson just for the sheer fact I like Clemson's defense more than LSU's. That's been their real serious weak point this year. Is LSU's defense is not that good. It's not the LSU standard. But I'm going to say this game gets an overtime.
Ooh.
This game gets an overtime. I think there's too much. It's legitimate season momentum. Clemson has been able to tear through the ACC because they're essentially an SEC team, and LSU is just. And someone said it perfectly. LSU has essentially played 5 playoff games. They've had to play Georgia. The Auburn game was tough. The Alabama game pretty much told you who's going to the playoffs.
Right.
You had to play Oklahoma, who was a playoff game. You've had to do this over and over and over again all year.
Yeah.
And Clemson, though, they're like, well, we were here last year, and we weren't even the favorites, and we mauled Alabama.
And now they're again not the favorites.
Yeah, again, they're coming as the 3rd seed, which I thought was like weird, because even though that's my one thing about college football. Clemson was clearly going to be a top 4 team all year as long as they didn't lose. So when people are like, "Oh, they're not doing that well in September," yeah, it's a preseason for them. That's why Lawrence was throwing a bunch of picks. He was testing what he could do all year.
Conspiracy theory.
Oh, hit me with it.
NCAA wanted Burrows versus Lawrence.
Ooh. So they made sure it wasn't.
So they made sure it was like, one
The
team.
most marketable thing possible.
Right, but you want to make sure like you're not,
I mean, it was definitely easy because they could also have worked it in because I think Ohio State was absolutely also. There was 3 serious teams this year in my opinion.
Right.
Ohio State was the other one, and they're like, we can't lose this situation.
Yeah.
We know LSU's going to beat Oklahoma. I know Oklahoma fans that were like,
so basically,
this is
you're
over.
saying that Ohio State didn't get the 1 seed because of the maximum capabilities that they can market this.
Yes.
I think it would have been a tough sell to give Ohio State the 1 seed just because of what LSU did. But
And
to them, that was
Clemson.
perfect.
Right, but
Yeah,
like
it was perfect because like, good, we can give LSU the 1, and no one's going to see.
And then the 2-3 was a
And
doozy.
we give them a doozy of a game,
right,
harmfully being it later because it should have been the first game.
correct.
Because
I
I was
was
almost exhausted after watching LSU manhandle Oklahoma. Like, I was like, oh man.
I think that's the thing is that
Oh.
because they manhandled them, that made that
Exhausting.
second game a lot easier to take in the
to
draw.
stomach.
Plus,
It was a lot
like,
easier to
if
watch.
it's like, I mean, the way LSU just annihilated Oklahoma,
Yeah.
like, if it's the second game and I'm like, all right, well, there's still 3/4 of football left to go. Let's watch something else. Like,
Yeah, let's watch something else. I will say this though, and this is my real quick take on this because we don't really talk about college football a whole lot on this podcast. This playoff year has been the biggest statement as to why there shouldn't be 8 teams.
Yes.
There were 3 good teams this year. Like, and when I say good, I mean good enough to win the national
Great.
championship. After that, I don't really care about anybody else.
Everyone was
That's
kind of
coming
like a
from
whole bunch of
yeah,
meh.
this is coming from a Texas fan. I'm not even talking crap about Oklahoma. I watched what happened, and you're telling me you want to watch 1 versus 8 instead?
Mm-mm.
No. Oh my gosh.
You know what you could pitch for is 5.
You could pitch 5
And
potentially
then
where
you
the
could
1
have
gets the bye.
I think
one
you
gets a bye, or 4 and 5 fight baseball style
I'm
to take
okay
on
with that.
1.
I think you could do 8 and do the top 2 seeds with a bye.
And
You
that's
could do
what,
that.
that's where I'm okay with that. I could
You
do
could do
1,
that.
2, get a bye, even though yesterday showed me in the NFL bye weeks aren't great, but college prepares much differently than the NFL.
Right.
But if anyone was really cheering and fighting for 8 teams, including myself, I want 8 teams because I want there to be more. I want there to be an attempt.
This
at
year
more
was not
parity.
the argument for it.
This year was a terrible argument for it. Like, because this is always the thing with college football. We see it every decade. There's a new team that just dominates the decade. In the 80s, we all know it was the decade of Miami. The state of Miami, all that. Like, that was them. In the 90s, you had a bit of like Oklahoma was in there. You had Florida really coming up with Steve Spurrier in the SEC. We get in the early 2000s, USC and the California Golden Boys and Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. And then we got into Matt Leinart. And then you get into like the Nick Saban era at LSU. They won 2 national championships. Then you get into the 2010s of Alabama.
Nick Saban of Alabama.
Nick Saban of Alabama. And now we're into the 2020s, and now it's Clemson, with LSU possibly playing a bit of a spoiler here and stealing one. But that's how college football's always worked. It's always been with the 1 or 2 teams dueling it out, always. But that's where I was kind of hoping the playoff system would like kind of screw that up a bit. But instead, it's kind of made it where we're getting the same teams every year.
All right, so Zach's got Clemson. I've got LSU. Justin? Wrap it up.
I'm gonna take the Tigers.
You got the
Oh,
joke.
no,
He's got the joke. Look at
Oh,
that.
no, LSU.
Well, yeah. Actually, you made your prediction actually already.
I did.
Before I made you. Well, before I made fun of you, yes. So I actually forgot about that. Sometimes don't get concussions.
Don't get concussions.
So yeah, no, we got 2 for LSU, we got 1 for Clemson, and we'll see what happens there. So yeah,
I'm stupid.
this should be
excited for
fun.
This game.
This should be fun.
I just hate that it's not on Monday night.
I can't wait to watch you on Twitter tonight.
Oh, you're gonna see me on Twitter. I'm gonna be talking so much shit about like.
By the way, if you want your entertainment,
Oh yeah, follow me at Zachary Jones 198. If you want any draft Twitter, that's gonna be big now.
I'm actually really proud of you that you remembered your Twitter this time.
I thank you, right? I know it's been so much easier.
yeah, that's
now.
right. It's so much easier when it's your actual name.
Yeah, exactly. Not my nickname anymore.
Swim Titty, what was it?
Swim Twiggy.
Was that what it was?
Swim Twiggy 98 or some shit
There
like
we
that.
go.
Swing
Yeah.
Twiggy Jones, wasn't
Swim
it?
Twiggy. Dude, don't do this. I can't remember, man.
I remember your Twitter
Clearly.
handle more than you do.
I don't know.
Everyone does.
I like my Twitter handle. Well, my Twitter name now.
Oh, I do like that
I
one
do
now.
like it a lot. 'Cause, you know,
Well, you want to
Why
drop
don't you
that?
tell them?
Yeah, drop
well, I mean, everybody knows that the Bills make you want to shout, but for me, the Sabres make me want to pout. So,
that. Save everyone out. But yeah, I mean, the next few weeks though, well, because I think
Still
both of
Justin
you know
Lamont,
this.
18.
Yeah, but it's the same thing about it. But I think you two definitely know this about me. Draft season is my favorite time of the year. Not really even a debate. So I'm going to be potentially releasing.
Now that the Bills are finally done,
yeah, I'm fully into
we
it
can
now.
actually dive deep into that. So
I will potentially be doing like a weekly mock drafts of not only the Bills but my own top 10 of what the NFL should do. I'll probably just release the same thing or do like a quick snippet of like if teams don't change, because that's the one thing that does kill me about mock drafts. I hate seeing the same guy or girl do one and it's like you changed one pick, my dude.
Yeah.
Just tell me what that one pick was, because it was the same thing last week.
yeah.
yeah.
By the way, you'll be able to find crew mock drafts on this channel as well.
Ooh, good.
So that's gonna be pretty easy. Just
I'm
get up a
in.
mock draft machine and just like get 4 or 5 of us here, and we control
I'm in.
each
I'm
different
there for
team.
that.
I'm in.
So there we go.
I'm gonna get so passionate about this. You're
Let's
not
go.
even ready. For
Let's
this.
go.
Can we do that? Can we do that for the NHL too?
We can.
Because I already,
That I want to
None
know.
of us- like,
I
none of
already
us
do-
are as-
I already do my own mock drafts.
Save
Right.
for Frank. I don't think any of us carry as much knowledge as you do in that department.
Right, like I
I'll sit
legit
here
was
and
talking to
watch.
him earlier. There's gonna be podcasts I want to do where I legit have been writing down trade ideas that roster surgery we're supposed to have in the offseason for the Sabres. Like,
Roster surgery. Yep.
I do nothing but like
And yeah,
watch.
he told me of this, and I said this is for a later show.
Yeah.
Because we're not gonna have the time. So we're gonna quick hit on the Sabres and then get out of here. So, yeah.
Make me laugh.
Just watch the Sabres play. How about this? How about this? Hell froze over yesterday because Rodriguez scored twice, which I'm happy for the kid because I've always been a Rodriguez fan. But oh my god,
What a
is he
season
doing?
it's been.
And then, is that Jack Eichel or is that Zach Bogosian? Like, what an insult to Jack Eichel, first off, right?
Oh, we're at the play-by-play call, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Insult to Jack Eichel.
Like, Bogo, like, listen, I've met Bogo. Good guy, right? I like the guy. But Derek, you said it, he looks like a guy who has had hip surgeries. Like, the dude is a turnstile on the ice, okay? Traffic construction people don't even want to put him out on the road because cars are going to get past him, okay? He is just not a serviceable defenseman. And you trade a second-round pick for Colin Miller, okay? Why? Why? There is no use to him being up in the press box. There is
Zero.
no use to have him being the extra defenseman, 11 and 7, and he's not playing. Like, Bogosian gets more defensive ice time than he does when you do that. Like, why? And on top of that, you're trying to trade him. Everybody knows we're trying to make a trade.
He's an albatross with a contract. You're not trading.
Right.
not doing
Like
that.
this is not Botterill's fault. People want
This, in
to.
part,
People want.
Zach Bogosian is not
No,
just about this
people
fight.
want
You're
to
right.
trash Botterill as much as they can. He is absolutely to blame for some of this. But like, how can you rebuild instead of rebuild? You want to talk about poor asset management? 2015, we traded for Ryan O'Reilly, right? We also traded a first-round pick for Robin Leonard and David Legwand. Like, what? Okay, and on top of that, the 31st overall pick that we sent to Colorado
Yep.
could have been used because 4 picks later at 35 overall was Sebastian Aho. Imagine that.
Imagine.
Imagine that. And like, Scandella was playing good this year, so it makes sense that you trade him because there was some value there. And then I understand you want to go get, Frolik, who like people were hot on after his time in Winnipeg and really hasn't lived up to his contract.
Nope.
But it's like we don't need another bottom 9 forward right now. If you're gonna get another bottom 9 forward or bottom 6,
Honestly, I was
keep who you have.
okay with
But,
that
like-
one because first off, you needed to get rid of at least one player in the logjam.
right? But like,
You really did.
Why do we have another? If you're gonna bring up another bottom 6 forward, let's see C.J. Smith in an expanded role.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see Sean Malone in an expanded role. Like,
Are these guys still hurt, by the way?
who? Smith?
Smith?
No, he's back.
Okay.
Yeah, he scored the only goal the other night in Rochester.
Yeah, 'cause, like he's been injured a lot.
He has been. But like I don't need, and it's nothing on Frolik, but like our answer is Dalton Smith, and he doesn't even fight, and he spends more time. He spends more time in the penalty box than he does on the ice.
2 minutes to 126. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
That actually happened.
That's exceptional.
That's what we're.
That's
what we're
exceptional.
doing.
That actually happened.
We have one line that scores, but hey, you know what? We got a guy who hit Darlene and gave him a concussion a month ago, and we didn't do anything about it then. So let's do it now. Like,
Yeah.
And the refs were like, "No,
It's
Why
essentially-
don't,
it's
why, don't
essentially
we,
what
why
happened.
don't we go back and let's reacquire Steve Ott and John Scott? Why don't we just go back to those days? Because that is what sent us, outside of losing Breer and Jury, into the rebuild, into the tank.
I mean, the only thing that takes us away from those teams to now is Jack Eichel.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
It's the exact same team, except instead of Steve Ott wearing 9, Jack Eichel is.
Right.
That's it.
It's
That's
far
right.
better upgrade."
It's the far better upgrade. But that's
Like-
the only reason I even touch the Sabres when they're playing. It's the
Even
only
if
reason.
we know this team is lacking heart because when Eichel got in a fight against Minnesota, Brandon Montour even said that the guys didn't respond on the bench the way they should have. What? Like Montour is like I begged and pleaded for over a year to get Montour. I loved his game,
Yep.
right? And we got him. Re-sign him, Botterill. Just
Yeah, please
Do it.
Please actually
Resign.
sign
It's gonna be
Montour.
easier because he's still RFA status.
right.
Yeah.
And like
So
he's,
easy to get
he's
him on.
speaking up. He's been here for a year and he's speaking up. Where's Gergensen speaking up? Where's Larson? I was mad at O'Reilly for saying you lost the love of the game, but Jesus, man,
That
I'm
makes sense.
proud
It
of
makes
O'Reilly
sense.
for saying that.
It makes
Larson said the same thing last year too,
It
but
makes
nobody said
sense.
anything because he's not a
And
star.
then Ristolainen kind of said the same thing.
Right, like.
And
why
now
are they
Bogosian's
losing-
saying the same thing.
Right, why are they losing?
And
to the
Rodriguez
game?
is saying the
Yes.
same thing.
It's
When you keep losing and
Yes.
it's so obvious that
Yes.
you are not a talented team, it becomes so difficult for them to play.
I'm not.
The only reason Eichel hasn't lost the love of the game is because he knows he is so goddamn good.
Yes,
And
He also knows that he'd get destroyed for saying it.
yes,
yeah,
and like
which at this point I am with him. In another year, if serious stuff is not done to fix this franchise, he should demand a trade.
I'm not saying you need to move out Ristolainen. I'm not trying to run him out of town.
Yeah.
No,
And Botterill is 100% gun shy about making a splash of a caliber, player that caliber. But he's your biggest asset. You can trade Reinhardt, but you're not trying to take out of your top 6. You're trying to add to it.
yeah.
Middlestat's not ready yet.
I
We
feel like
knew
the
that.
top 6 forward thing, though, it genuinely is an NHL draft or off-season trade.
Yeah.
It's not going to
I think
happen.
it
Like
has
at this
to be.
point,
Yeah,
we're
it
gonna
has
have.
to be.
At this point, we're gonna have to swallow this medicine for the rest of the year.
I'm
Oh, yeah, we have to.
fully prepared for it. I'm angry.
That sucks.
I'm angry that it didn't happen.
But now it's gotten me to. I'm paying attention hardcore to Dylan Cousins and what he's
Yes.
doing, which is spectacular to watch. Casey Middlestat, now that he's in Rochester,
He's
he's had
hitting
a
the
few
flow.
games, but now he's doing very well. I think
He's hitting the flow now.
He's
Yes.
scored in 3 straight games.
He did. You reminded me. I have another list at home that I've been doing. So, back when
Big
I had
time,
my
big time.
radio show up off state neutral ice, it was the year that the Sabres ended up winning the lottery. A player I was huge on and really wanted was Quinn Hughes. Look at him in Vancouver.
Mhm.
2017, my boy was Cal McCarr. Look at him in Colorado.
Mhm.
Like, I have a list of my pick that I wanted,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, you are
this
pissed now.
lineup, this lineup would be stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
It's just it is frustrating. It's the thing though with the NHL draft. It's not as quick jump as like the NBA where it's like you draft that guy, he's sliding right in your lineup, you're good.
Yeah, but like
It's not as bad as the NHL.
But at the same
it's
time,
not
you
as
can hit your
slow.
damn picks instead of
Exactly.
saying take Alex Nylander.
Exactly. But it's also not as slow as baseball where it's like we're
Chicago.
waiting forever.
Thank you for Henry Yokohara, by the way.
right.
I do love Henry
First,
Yokohara.
first off, for hitting on that pick all the way at the end of the first round.
27th. Right. It just goes to show you that like you can
And
still
then,
find.
yeah, you
You
can
can
hit him.
you can find talent.
You can hit
yeah.
your damn
Pasternak.
picks.
Pasternak is 24th, 25th overall.
Yeah.
Bo Horvath was 24th overall.
Yeah.
So what do you get at 8? Alex Nylander.
Well, my thing is, like, with a player like Jack Eichel already,
Step on a Lego, Tim
you don't
Murray.
need to find another franchise winger. You don't, because you have that franchise guy. Just get top 6 forwards who can play well around him and eventually Dylan Cousins. That's what you need to do.
This year,
This year's just swallowing your medicine. It really is.
It's tough. I mean, not every rebuild's going to go perfect. They shouldn't. They really shouldn't. Rebuilds should not be easy, but it is frustrating.
But in the NHL, Colorado was probably the best team to prove you do not need to be doing it for years.
No, it takes very quick.
If you draft well, you do not need to take too much time.
I mean, they were the worst team in the NHL one year, and then the next year they were in the playoffs.
Horribly.
I mean, it's stuff like that.
And I mean, we thought the tank seasons were bad.
I mean, they were truly one of the worst teams ever. But I mean, when you have franchise cornerstones like a Dahlin and an Eichel, you have one on defense, you have one on offense,
and you have one in that. I'm telling you right now, Pekka Luukkonen.
I don't really know how to even judge a
In
goalie.
2016, I was
But a
hot
lot
on
of people are really high on him, and they're like, we're literally just waiting for him.
In 2016, I was hot on Pekka
How old
Luukkonen. I'm
is
sorry,
he?
2017. He was drafted in 2017. He's
So
like 20.
So he's a young buck for
Listen,
goalies.
He's a kid.
Wow.
I just saw a thing
He's still a
last
kid,
night.
Yeah, I mean,
That-
legitimately.
He's a prospect.
Wow.
Well, he's just got called up to Rochester.
Mhm.
But he's only here for this week because they have 3 games in 3 nights.
Mhm.
And then he's going back down to Cincy.
Where he's been amazing.
Wrong. Send him up to Buffalo. Carter Hart.
Send him
Carter Hart.
Up.
All over again. Let's do it.
up to Buffalo.
You want him like the rush
want
a little bit?
I want him.
He
So
wants what Philadelphia did with Carter Hart last year.
Yeah,
That's
So
what I'm
is
saying.
he good enough though to legitimately send him up and it's not going to kill him?
I don't know.
Listen. He set records in the OHL. He has like a 1.4. I could be wrong, but it's like 1 point something
In Cincinnati right now.
in Cincinnati.
Holy
Like
shit.
he's got like a
So
nine-
he's
he's got like
dominating
a
there.
930 save percentage in the ECHL.
Wow. So so he's killed. Why isn't he in Rochester already then?
Because you have Jonas Johansson, who is
Has been doing very well.
Doing
like,
very
where
well.
did he come from? Like, he was a late round Tim Murray pick. Like,
Mhm.
Tim Murray did go with Allmark, and Johansson.
Allmark, I think, is a very good backup goalie.
Yeah, he's a serviceable.
By the way, 20 games for the Cincinnati Cyclones. It's a 917 save percentage.
Still nice.
212.
2-1-2. Okay, so it's jumped up. Like, I looked at this like 3 weeks ago. So
I mean,
But his
regardless,
lone
that's still-
start in the AHL was 2 goals against and a 941.
yeah.
What was it?
and
I'm sorry, I coughed. in
It was
the
2
middle of
goals against, 941 save percentage in his first start in Rochester.
that. He's fine.
With Sudbury in the OHL, where goals are aplenty.
He
Yeah.
had 8
Yeah.
shutouts.
8 shutouts,
Yeah.
250,
That's,
and a 920.
He should be in Rochester.
that is
It's
stupid. He
elite.
should be in Buffalo.
He should be in.
What does it hurt? Where are we going this year?
I just don't want to hurt his pride. Like, I don't want to hurt his confidence.
They
That's
don't
my-
want to
that's-
Casey Middlestat this.
I mean, that's kind of my big thing. Is like
But
why
he
I
didn't
don't want.
start here.
Oh yeah.
He didn't like. Honestly, I said
I thought they rushed him out of Minnesota.
I thought he should have gone to college for another year.
He
Yes.
should've. I know a lot.
So I think they're
like,
trying to make
yeah.
up for it by saying, let's do this right, because we saw what we've seen with Victor Olofsson, for example, and you slow cooked it, and now he's hanging on the
fantastic.
top line.
Oh,
He is fantastic.
By the way,
for us.
I don't think he should be
Great.
eligible to win the Calder. Just saying.
Well, at this point, thanks to the injury, he probably won't,
Yeah, my pick at the beginning of the season was Cal McCarr.
and that's going to
And
go to him.
Colorado was also my pick to make the Stanley Cup out of the West.
So yeah, like McCarr, it really has. It's now his to lose again.
If you watch Cal McCarr skate,
He's so good. He's so good.
it's not.
But-
I mean, we're
yeah.
gonna see that with the Sabres. I mean, very quickly this could turn around. Like, let's say Casey Middlestat, his little like boiling period in Rochester. If he comes back next year and he's all of a sudden ready, and Dylan Cousins is 100% ready, and you have Olofsson, you have Eichel already, Skinner's going to be coming back, and then you have Reinhart, and then we maybe draft somebody. I think we have to go forward in the first round this year, right? I mean,
you
that's,
need to hit forward every pick this year.
that's you are so loaded on defensive prospects. You need to go forward everywhere.
So you know what's funny though about even this season is that the Sabres aren't horribly out of the race.
no, they're not.
What
Because
are
the
they, 5
Atlantic's
points out? Are they
terrible.
out 5 points out now?
5 points out, and it's just gonna be a hodgepodge this year because in the Metro, Washington, Pittsburgh, Islanders, they're pretty much locking those 3 spots up again. Carolina's probably taking your other wild card, and then it's Philadelphia and Florida, and Toronto really kind of
And
fighting a wild
Also,
card.
Toronto just took a huge hit.
Yeah, we were talking about
They
that.
just
before we
lost
went on
Morgan
the break.
Riley.
That's oof.
I mean,
already without Jake Muzzin,
their defense is atrocious.
I'm sorry, Jake Muzzin's overrated. And
but they're already without him.
yeah,
They're already without him.
Yeah, the defense is already bad.
Overrated or not, he's
Tyson-
still probably their second best defenseman.
Tyson Berry has not looked good this year,
Nope.
which is sad because I love Tyson Berry. I love Tyson. I loved him in Colorado. I would have loved if Otto made that move.
Yep.
It is what it is. But they called up Rasmus Sandin, and I mean the kid looks good, but
Is he ready?
I don't think he's ready.
It's
I don't
tough
think he's ready.
because they might force him to big minutes already.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do? Put Cody Ceci in? Which,
Actually, yeah. Hey,
Toronto's got
Toronto. Look at. I'm telling you right now. Put in Cody Ceci. Like
top
you're-
line, top pairing defenseman. Do it.
You Thomas Chabot playing 35 minutes a game. Put CC in for 45. It's gonna work
For
out. I
45.
promise.
I mean, the sad part with Toronto, and like as a Buffalo fan, thank God, they have to hit. Like they've now hit a point where
Yeah.
their fans want to talk all the smack that Austin Matthews is so much better than Eichel.
They got to hit hard.
They
with it.
have to now hit.
Do you?
It's like
Their
the
problem has been the playoffs.
It's like the Capitals and the Lightning all over again, where it's just phenomenal in the regular season. Now you're not even that.
Also, I want to see Austin Matthews in the desert one day. I want to see him save hockey in Arizona, but like Arizona's a wagon this year.
They're saving themselves.
His usage under stupid head
Like
Babcock.
Babcock?
Stupid.
Oh, I was
Stupid
never high on Babcock, but
That ruined it for you.
what
Yikes.
he did with Austin Matthews is criminal.
Mhm.
Somebody
Criminal.
explain it to me real quick.
Look at okay, when Babcock was fired, Matthews was around 31 points total on the season.
Okay.
And he has exploded. He's now second in the NHL in goals. He had did you see that stupid assist he had
Yes.
to
That-
Garner?
yeah, I saw that.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Matthews is looking like the piece that he was supposed to. He's got
Yes.
54 points in 46 games.
yes.
Damn, holy shit.
All he
31 goals.
all
And
he
it's
has
literally
to
just
do-
from Babcock getting fired. Now,
Yes.
now he's off. the
Because
races.
Sheldon Keefe, like if you watch practices, like practice video of Toronto, like a lot of their media outlet I follow because they're actually like some of them are intelligent. Like they tweet out videos of the practice, and like with Babcock, it was like very traditional, line rushes,
Old school hockey
PK
practice.
keeper, blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
Sheldon Keefe has them. What I did my final year at Buff State, like it was, broken up into groups based on like roles and like stuff like
Okay.
that. Like
Okay,
it's
yeah. I mean,
it's
that makes
Working
sense.
on different aspects
yes,
of the
it's
game.
different, and like even Jason Spezza, who, oh, man, like going back to
What a lull like he had this year.
I know.
That was a
like,
bad thing that happened.
how dare Babcock not play Spezza opening night?
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Like, how dare he? And like, it's coming out like even Johan Franzen's like, yeah, dude's an asshole.
Dude's an ass.
Like, plain and simple. But
like Jason Spezza not playing opening night, and I know you watched Letterkenny.
yeah,
It's fucking embarrassing.
it is. Like, how dare you? But now Sheldon Keefe is. I wanted either Chris Taylor or Sheldon Keefe when the Sabres are doing their coach because they coach different. They coach these young kids and they know how to get to these guys.
Mhm.
And Sheldon Keefe is getting to his guys. They're
That's half of coaching now.
I'm
It's
telling
just
you-
is motivating your guys.
yes, I'm telling you right now, Toronto is getting out of the first round of the playoffs this year.
You think so? Just with the change of coach,
I'm
they're
putting
gonna
that
do it.
out there right now. Toronto's getting out of the first round of the playoffs this year.
All right, real quick, because you mentioned his name, and I do want to ask both of this question because I've seen
Quite
it.
honestly, it also might be better by situation.
Yeah.
I would trust them against Tampa Bay more than I would Boston at this point.
Yes.
The way Boston's playing,
No,
I'm not touching that.
No,
I would trust them against Tampa Bay if they are the 2-3 matchup. I would trust them in the wild card against Washington.
Yeah.
I just don't trust them against Boston. The goal is
I would
don't
trust anybody
finish
against
in the
Boston.
bottom wild card spot.
Yeah. But yeah, real quick, Chris Taylor. I've heard this name now come around because a lot of I've seen it on Sabres Twitter. I've seen this a bunch, and I didn't even think of it until people brought it up. I thought it was like some crackhead tinfoil theory. Now it's actually picking up steam, which is weird. Ralph Kruger is the head coach right now of the Buffalo Sabres.
Correct.
But I've seen a bunch of people say it was literally just a test this year so that he can move up to the president position of hockey, and then they upgrade Chris Taylor to the head coach of the Sabres, and they keep Otto as GM. What's that all about? Because I remember, even when Ralph Kruger was hired, I know a lot of people were high on Chris Taylor. Like, they wanted him so badly to be
Yes.
head coach.
Because as Justin said, that he's getting to players. The only
I mean,
player,
Rochester's always
the
good.
only person that he really couldn't crack was Alex Nylander.
And no one can.
Nobody can.
Nobody can.
Nobody can.
So
Dude's a healthy scratch in Chicago.
yeah, nobody can do it at this point.
He scored one time and everyone lost their shit, and then from then on, it's been a joke.
Yeah, apparently
Exactly.
they lost the trade. Apparently.
So
Right.
yeah, who is saying that? So I've seen the same kind of theory where it's Kruger's brought in. He has front office background.
A bigger, I think,
And
almost than coaching.
He also has had roster construction in hockey through the World Cup of hockey. He was part of the construction of the roster for Team Europe. He was a consultant with the Carolina Hurricanes. Like he's been around a bunch of different aspects of management and sport.
Okay.
That it's a very solid theory, I think, at this
Okay.
point. And they even got Taylor some time behind the bench after what happened with
That's what I
Granato.
started seeing, is everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, here comes his time on the bench. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Oh
I mean,
my
it was
God,
an
Kruger's still the
unfortunate
coach.
thing that happened to it was
Donnie Granato.
Donnie Granato, and it's good that he made his full recovery.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
what that did was it allowed Taylor an opportunity behind an NHL bench to see what Kruger's doing.
You know what? You know what would be fun is I saw when people were making a joke about like sending down last year Phil Housley and calling up Chris Taylor. Like, what if
Could you do that?
teams actually did that with coaches?
Do it. Do
Like-
it. Like
Like
exactly
really,
the players.
really, you're doing 11-7 and you're playing BOGO. Like, okay, buddy, to Rochester.
To
you're going.
Rochester,
You're
you
going
go.
down to the ECHL, kid. Like, enjoy your time down there.
Off to
Just see
Cincinnati.
on the transaction wire, Buffalo
Right.
Sabres send down Coach Phil Housley to Rochester in the
So,
AHL.
Could you imagine how
Phil
hockey
Housley.
actually would be, though?
And then,
like, that would be nuts. Hockey would be
hilarious.
insanity.
I would love that.
I'd
I'm
be
gonna
for
try.
it.
But the only thing that would do is, as a player, I'm going, what coach do we have this week, boys?
Right. But no, I mean,
Do they have such different styles that the next thing you know,
Oh,
you're trying to play,
man.
like you've got a guy
Insane.
who's like dump and chase, or with Housley it was like a man defensive zone, which, yeah, that's the explanation that you need there. That's literally me. And like you're playing a man defensive zone scheme, whereas then you get a different coach, get called up like Chris Taylor, who coaches a normal defensive zone scheme, and now you're doing something completely different than what the other coach wanted you to do. So
The
that would
same-
be hell in a handbasket if that were to ever have been a thing.
the Sabres would have been. I'm 100% convinced last year's collapse would have never happened had they fired Housley and brought up Chris Taylor midseason.
I would agree.
I am 100% convinced. And on top of
I
that,
mean, the collapse would have partially happened at that point.
right? But I don't think
It
it's
wouldn't
as
have been so
bad.
dire. Like, it was
I don't think it's
holy shit.
right. Like you saw, you know, what was it? Poyle in Nashville do something he never does, and he fired Laviolette like midseason. Like if you fire Housley midseason last year, right? You're giving yourself a tryout with a potential candidate who you ended up interviewing anyway to see what he does, right? To see what he does, okay? And if you're not like I don't think he's ready to be behind the NHL bench. Like, okay, then you put him back down to Rochester. Be like, hey, thanks for your time. Like, we want to keep you in Rochester for a little bit.
Mhm.
You know, we're gonna see how this goes and keep growing you as a head coach. But like, at the same time, how can you say he's not ready? Because John Cooper was in the juniors, and his name was coming up, just like Sheldon Keefe, just like this is, and it's like. Tampa just gave this kid a shot out of the juniors. Like, what are they doing? And now they put up 128 points in the season. Like, that's just, and I don't know what's going on with them this year, but like,
Oh, they found their game again.
yeah, like they're rolling. Like they scored 5 goals. They're on like what 8 games in a row. They're on an 11-game
It's not a
run.
legitimate
Like,
tear.
Yeah, like it's just
They put 9 on Vancouver.
Yeah. And Jacob Markstrom is a good goalie. Who's a UFA, by the way, so trade Hutton and bring in Jacob Markstrom if you have to.
That I will say,
That's going to be an episode. That's gonna be
every
for another
time
Sabres
Hutton,
episode.
every time I'm told Hutton is going to be behind or in front of the goal, I'd cry. I can't watch Sabres games when he's the goal.
honestly,
I can't do
tough
it.
for him.
I can't do it.
Honestly, I wonder
In
if
his losing streak, though, there have been even games where he's been good,
And it doesn't
and it just
happen
doesn't
for him.
work.
so.
Like the Islanders game is the one that will always
Oh, that's the one
burn
to
my
stick in
memory.
Yes.
because I was working at the arena for that one, and it's just a goal off the back of his skate. It's the only goal of the game,
And you're just like, damn.
that was just that was right in the beginning of that
Yeah.
streak.
Absolutely.
Right, I think it was like the third one.
Mhm.
But now the guy can't buy a win, and now almost can't buy a save.
I
No,
do-
it's. Oh.
I do know that Trey White's still in the area, so
Need to
if
get
there's
involved.
any way Starter Hutton can get back to the goalie academy. He needs it.
Yeah, he might need some visits there. Either that or Trey's credentials are going to get taken away as a teacher.
Nah, I don't think so.
So
he's waiting for his prodigal student to show up.
yeah,
Right,
because
yeah.
he got a Trey White Goalie Academy shout out on ESPN this year. So
That was sweet.
that was beautiful.
That was sweet.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up. But well, you heard it about the first part of the episode, so be on the lookout for Habanero Hot Takes. Be on the lookout for stuff from NFL Draft and more content there. Sabres, they play 3 times this week, as a matter of fact. So that ought to be fun.
Yeah, and then I don't have to be miserable all next week watching them, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, don't they have their bye week?
Next
That's
week.
right. So we might do just like a bye-week recap of the season so far. Maybe bash our heads into a wall.
I'm good.
And
I'm
then
ready
for that time, baby.
maybe I'll be healthy enough emotionally to talk about the Buffalo Bills
I'm good. I'm ready. I can talk about them.
next time.
Next time I can talk about them.
Next time.
I'm good.
Next time. So yeah,
At least we're not.
you all
Browns
you
fans.
all watched me and Kyle and Frank talk about them in the last episode. If you didn't, well, it's in there. It's in the
Remember,
playlist.
you could be a Cleveland Browns fan. Kevin Stefanski. Come on. You could be that.
They almost went with Josh McDaniels,
Why
which
couldn't
would have
they
been
take
worse.
Ryan Dable?
I was praying,
Like, why couldn't
but
they just-
I'm okay with it. But remember, they had
Listen.
Robert Saleh and Kevin Stefanski going against each other. Salah definitely won, and they went, we want the guy that has the most conservative game plan I've ever seen in a
Listen.
playoff game. Let's do it.
You want to talk about conservative? How about Frank Gore on a stretch play?
Ooh.
2nd and 13.
All right. Like I said,
No Singletary in overtime, baby. Oh, you gotta love it.
like I
You gotta love
said, like I said,
it.
next
Jazzed.
episode. We're already going big here with this one. So thank you for listening or
17 game
watching.
next year.
Appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. That gives us blood. It gives us life in order to sustain a little bit here.
This is staying a little bit.
And
Gives us a-
now that everybody's done being sick, more steady content coming your way as well.
Last
So-
2 weeks been rough.
Yeah, no.
Retweet, brother. Retweet.
Yeah, no, like these 2 were out of commission. Before that, it was me, and you know, it was a tough part of the year. We're through it. Hopefully, you are as well. And give the boys a follow on Twitter at Zachary Jones 198, on Twitter at Justin Lamont 18, and at Derek Kramer 49. They're all pretty simple. Got our names. Got some numbers after it. The names will also be in the description.
Yeah.
Because always. And I would not be remiss if I didn't end the episode, as I'm going to end pretty much every episode that I am in for the Raging Buffalo, the 11-day power play, the Beer League non-stars. So I've got myself as a captain for a team. Hopefully I got this guy playing, and because that would mean that he's good.
My goal last year was.
Oh man, this is between the leggies. Oh man, he put some nice dangle sauce on and gave our terrible team a great positive to the end of the shift.
I can't even
So-
skate.
Oh man, no, we have video proof of that on this channel. So
Literally on this channel.
literally on this channel. So thanks for watching 11-day power play. That link will be in the description as well. Until next time.
Garrett Cole's a New York Yankee.
Garrett Cole's a New York Yankee. Baseball teams cheat. College football playoff.